Hey everybody, Travis Legge with Plastic H Productions here. If you've tuned in and I've got this online right, that means that we've been 3 weeks in a row that I've gotten this vlog done on time. Don't get used to that. So, I got a few things I wanted to cover this week. First off, and first and foremost in my mind, is we've got the Forest City Comic Convention coming up, FC3. Kicks off May 13th, 14th, and 15th. And the 13th is just a big kickoff party in downtown Rockford. We're going to be holding a free screening of some horror-themed short films, and some of them are more comedy horror, but should be a lot of fun. It's at the Nordloff Center. It's free. Come out, Rockford. Come out if you're in the Rockford area. Drive up from Chicago. It'll be worth it. There's a party at the bar across the street afterwards. It's going to be a great kickoff. The 14th and 15th, the Forest City Comic Con is happening at the Tabala Center in Rockford. We had a bunch of cool guests. I sort of pimped that a little bit last week. But we've had some developments on the film festival side since last time I was here. I mentioned last episode that there was a guest who's going to be at the convention who's near and dear to my heart, and I was working on getting something a little special film related going for that guest. I'm happy to announce now that that is worked out. We will be screening The Dorm Room, which was written by and stars David A. Rodriguez, from the Rockford, Chicago area. He filmed it here in Rockford 10 years ago. 10 years ago. A lot of times, like some of us, local film cats like myself, Notebook, so on and so forth, we all like to pretend like we were groundbreaking pioneers, but when we were just, putzing around in high school, Dave was making a movie. It's called The Dorm Room. We're showing it Saturday, May 14th at 2 p.m. at the FC3 Comic Con. So come out, come see the flick, come buy some comics. You might know Dave's other work from, little underground stuff like Skylanders and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. Aside from the Comic Con, we're in full swing pre-production on Reckoning. I've got some really cool stuff that we're going to be dropping very soon. If everything goes according to plan, by this weekend, we'll have the Indiegogo page live. In the meantime, you want to hit the Facebook page for Reckoning, which I'm going to link in the description below to keep up with news. But we got a lot of cool stuff planned for this Indiegogo. We've got specific character posters for some of the people. Just a beautiful design by Carissa Wenstrom. And I will go ahead and tease one of those posters now. So to see the rest of that poster and all the rest of the posters that we're going to be dropping over the course of this Indiegogo campaign, you're going to want to make sure to find Reckoning on Indiegogo. You're going to want to check out the Reckoning Facebook page. Like I said, it's in the description. So if you like there, you can keep up on news in the film, keep up on news on the Indiegogo, be able to get copies of the film, get copies of the comic a little bit cheaper than you normally could, and there may even be a full color version of the comic coming soon, maybe. We'll see. Everybody get after Chris Sweeney at Blackheart to make sure that gets done. So that concludes the pimping things segment of this vlog. What else did I want to talk about today? I'm going to talk a little bit about my belief structure, I guess, about atheism. And the reason I'm going to get into that is over the week I was at a meeting with my sisters as part of transgender rights sort of organization that I'm involved with. Anyways, where we were and why we were there isn't necessarily relevant. What is relevant is that the topic came up about atheism, particularly because there are some members of my family who are very much not. They're very religious. I am not. I'm more of an atheist. I wound up, I guess, talking with my older sister about how I define that and how I think it's, obviously it's not like there's not like a tenet, a list of tenets, right? It's just I don't believe in religion. That's really it. That's the tenet of my faith. It's not faith. So I explained, and I've seen this online, and smarter people than I have made this sort of distinction, but I'm going to just go ahead and break it down real quick so that later in the future, if you see me talking about religious issues or you see me talking about political issues, and I'm talking about kind of where I come from a perspective of belief, you can always refer back here and see exactly where it comes from. So the idea basically is this: there's a spectrum, right? You have think of it like like a chart with an x-axis and a y-axis, right? And you have theism, which is belief in a religion, and then you have atheism down here, which is no belief in religion. And then you have Gnosticism, which is knowledge, positive knowledge, and agnosticism, which is the sort of lack of knowledge, the admission of, I don't know. So you take someone who's a devout Catholic, who's firm in their beliefs, they really, really, really believe. As far as they're concerned, it's fact and they know it. So they would be a theistic Gnostic, right? Because they follow the tenets of the religion and they have knowledge, as far as they're concerned, they have knowledge of its truth, okay? So using those definitions, right, I am what I would call an agnostic atheist, in that, in terms of whether or not a God exists, I don't know. I have no way of knowing that. I don't know. I mean, there could be some sort of weird mystical being that, to my limited small human brain, would be considered a god somewhere out there in the cosmos. They might even been the dude that lit the fuse on the Big Bang. Who knows? But I don't know. So that's where I'm agnostic. On the spectrum of atheism and theism, I think it was theism and atheism, I'm very, very, very atheist. I don't believe that any religion has any real secrets to the universe, any real particular insight. The parts that are good in most religions are good in most religions, if that makes sense. So like where religion says things like don't kill people, that's pretty commonly accepted in most religions. Don't kill people, it's a bad idea. Don't be a dick to your neighbor. It's a pretty common tenet in religion. So all the places where religion gets it right, all the religions get it right for the most part. It's where you start getting into the exceptions to those very basic rules that I have very big problems with religion. And so in that terms, I am definitely an atheist. So I'm what I would call an agnostic atheist. I don't know if there's a God, but I do know that if there is some kind of a God, that humanity has never been right about him. Not once, not ever. So that's where I stand on issues of religion. Now, when it comes to people's like ability to practice their religion, you do you, man. I don't give a crap what you do, as long as you're just doing it to yourself and to willing participants in your family. Your kids don't necessarily count as willing participants, by the by. Having said that, if you're not getting in the way of other people's ability to live their lives, you believe whatever the hell you want to believe. That's fine. Where I start having a problem, a big problem, is when religion tries to shove itself down the throats of everyone through legislation, through bullying, things like that. That I have a problem with. You'll see me speak out on that, I'm sure, at some point. If you go to my Facebook, I bitch about that on a relatively routine basis. And then, obviously, relatively unusual, but still far too common cases where somebody, dies or is injured because they believe that their faith is somehow superior to technology and medicine, particularly if that belief gets a child harmed or killed. I have really big problems with that. So those are the kinds of things that if I'm going to get into a discussion about religion and about its faults, if I'm going to initiate a discussion about religion and its faults, I guess, that's where I'm going to initiate those conversations. If you want to talk to me about why you think religion's awesome, and I can poke holes in what you're saying, I probably will. Not that I want to run around and steal people's, beliefs from them. I just think that if you need to think a little critically about that sort of a thing, especially if you're trying to evangelize. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I've got that. Now that boil is lanced and we've talked about that, I'll look to other topics. I know at least one person has suggested I do some movie reviews on here. I don't think I'm gonna do that much. I'll probably talk about a couple movies I think are awesome, but I'm not a critic. I'm a person who enjoys movies and enjoys storytelling, which is why I make stories and movies. So I'll try to focus on what I enjoy about them. Maybe talk a little bit about the process, especially with Reckoning getting ready to shoot next month. I'm going to try real hard to keep the vlog going during that shoot and do other sort of stuff. So maybe talk just a little bit about the process of making a no-budget film. But again, whatever you guys want to hear about too, I'll be more than happy to. In response to the person who asked me to review Batman vs. Superman, it was all right. I liked Batman. I didn't particularly care for Superman. There's my Batman versus Superman review. See, I think that's probably all the time I have for this week. Got to get back at getting the convention and the movie and all that good stuff together. So, if you disagree with my take on religion or my definition of the terms that I threw around or whatever, what have you, let's start a flame war. Go ahead and leave a comment below. Just please be sure to like, share, subscribe, spread the word about this vlog. If you feel kind of the same way I do about religion in general, and you're looking for a way to express that, feel free to send this to your, friends that you, or family that you need to like say, hey, back off, I don't worship the devil, this is what I think, sort of, because we usually don't all think alike. So yeah, I'd appreciate it if you check out the links in the description below, and don't forget to subscribe. Have an awesome day.